Hello everyone, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. It's Thursday, September 7th. I'm Batsirin Namshar. Our top stories for News Mongolia. The cabinet announces key decisions on September 6th, 2023. Cultural heritage is mainly damaged by human hands. Uvurkhangai Province and the Allier Region of France have been cooperating for more than 20 years. For the news, stay tuned. In its regular session held on September 6th, the cabinet unveiled several crucial decisions and developments that will impact various sectors of the country. Here are the highlights of the cabinet decisions.
The cabinet discussed resolving the issues related to the Uvurkhangai deposit in the Mongolia Province. These issues were presented following the recent visit of the Prime Minister of Mongolia. It was decided that the matter would be resolved based on proposals from local authorities and in accordance with relevant legislation. Ministers Gambatar and Batyrden of Mining and Heavy Industry and Environment and Tourism, respectively, were assigned to study and address this matter. The cabinet instructed the development of a state policy concerning rare earth elements and rare metals in compliance with the applicable legislation. The policy will be subsequently submitted to the government session for consideration. As of April 29, 2023, activities at the Uvurkhangai deposit have been temporarily suspended. Although the environmental management plan for the 2023 exploration work was approved by the SOM governor, it was not approved by the authorized environmental service specified in the legislation. This decision was made by the Ministry of Mining and Heavy Industry. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Economy and Development Hurlatar reported a significant increase in foreign exchange reserves. As of the end of August 2023, foreign currency reserves reached an impressive $3,933 million, marking a remarkable 41% increase compared to September 2022. This development is expected to contribute to the stability of the Mongolian Tugrek exchange rate. In connection with the presentation of Minister Hurlatar, the cabinet directed related officials to connect trading deals made at the mining products exchange with the customs and tax automatic registration system. Additionally, it was emphasized that deals and contracts on mining products made by state and locally owned companies should be registered exclusively through the exchange in the customs and tax automatic registration system. Notably, since the beginning of 2023, the total sales of several key entities, including Erdenstavn Joint Stock Company, Erdent Industry State-Owned Enterprise, Mongol Rasvetmet, and Darkhan Metallurgical Plant, have collectively reached $2.5 billion. Furthermore, as of September 4th, a total of 4,966,000 tons of coal have been openly traded as part of the open sales of minerals. Among these, 3,110,000 tons of coal were traded through online channels, while 1,856,000 tons were traded through the mining products exchange. These recent developments reflect the government commitment to addressing key issues and fostering economic growth and stability in Mongolia.
In a bid to safeguard Mongolia's rich cultural heritage, there is an urgent need for advanced equipment and expertise to protect the nation's historical treasures. Let's take a look at our next news report.
After 2018, Oyun Todlok defended his doctoral degree in the field of cultural heritage preservation and restoration at the Japanese school for 5 years. He is one of only 2 specialists in this field in Mongolia who received education in a foreign country. After his graduation, he has experience working at the Japanese Institute for Cultural Preservation. Last year, Oyun Todlok worked with a team of researchers to uncover the tombs of 2 nobles belonging to the 13th century in Allier Province. It is said that there was a lack of proper equipment for the detailed study of these archaeological finds.
High-tech laboratory equipment such as microscopes, X-ray machines, CT tomography, etc. are required for wood products with excessive drying, cellular damage, and damage to the wood structure. Those kinds of things are lacking in Mongolia.
On the other hand, Angrak Suran studied for 5 years in the field of cultural heritage, restoration at Kyoto University in Japan, and received his doctorate. During this period, he also worked at the Nara National Research Institute of Cultural Heritage.
When I returned to my country and worked here, I noticed that, unlike in Japan, archaeological findings are mostly damaged by people handling them. Such petroglyphs, which are the latest UNESCO cultural heritage sites, are located in Uvurkhangai Province. This inscription is carved on a rock and oil was smeared on it. It's been cleaned and restored by the National Cultural Center. It is very susceptible to damage. The threat of grave robbing is rampant everywhere. It's also reaching the level of risk in Mongolia.
There are two things that damage and destroy physical cultural heritage: natural disasters and human wrongdoings. Therefore, everyone's participation is important in preserving and protecting the physical cultural heritage.
For Japan, it's important to preserve the physical heritage of history in its original form. From kindergarten onwards, children are taught how to deal with cultural heritage and the importance of protecting it. Cultural heritage is not something that should be protected by the just government alone.
More than 20 specialists are working in the field of restoration of physical cultural heritage in Mongolia. In other words, there is a lack of specialized personnel in addition to sophisticated laboratory equipment for the proper preservation and restoration.
More than 20 years have passed since Uvurkhangai Province established cooperation with the Allier Region of France. They initially began their collaboration in the area of health and subsequently expanded into education, agriculture, and the arts, implementing numerous projects.
Christophe de Contenson, a representative of the Allier Region Congress of France, Véronique de Rouy, Foreign Relations Officer of France, and Fabrice Debuts, the head of the National Theatre of the Allier Region, spent 10 days in Uvurkhangai Province. They familiarized themselves with activities in the industries they collaborate in, including agriculture, health, and education. They also highlighted the importance of supporting special needs schools and training club teachers to educate movement therapists and psychotherapists for children attending kindergarten. Additionally, they emphasized the use of cutting-edge techniques to improve agricultural, farming, and tourism operations.
In the field of education, we discussed solutions to educate children, organize online discussions and training sessions with children from other countries having relations with France, and establish student exchange between the two nations. We also discussed training teenagers in France to work as pastry chefs and professional chefs, both in France and Mongolia. We recently learned about kindergarten number 11, which serves special needs children, and identified areas where it's crucial to provide support. The General Council of Allier Region supports a community that fosters connections between Allier and Uvurkhangai Province, and we will focus on leveraging this community to undertake additional tasks. Furthermore, there is growing European interest in Mongolia. Our nation's president recently visited Mongolia, and on the 14th of next month, the President of Mongolia will attend the opening of the Genghis Khan exhibition in Nantes, France. During this event, we plan to present our upcoming projects and provide more details about the collaboration with the region.
The Huktamuk Band from the Musical Drama Theatre of Uvurkhangai Province participated in the 49th Globe Festival of Culture and Arts in Ghana and in the Allier region last month as part of Mongolian cultural and artistic collaboration. During the festival, they showcased traditional arts and intangible cultural heritage to a global audience. Officials from the Allier region expressed their commitment to future collaboration in this field, emphasizing their support for artists, the enhancement of bilateral cooperation, and the promotion of positive relationships among children and young people through social media.
You're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now, let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. The U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris said Wednesday that those responsible for the effort to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election and the ensuing violence at the U.S. Capitol must be held accountable, even if that means Donald Trump.
I hope and pray there will be no more political violence. And I am glad to see that the American people and our system of democracy and rule of law are holding people accountable who attempted to upend the democratic process and the election of the President of the United States. And I am also concerned that there are people, so-called leaders, extremists around our country who are engaged in a full-on attack against our democracy. I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about what we have witnessed in terms of an attack on hard-won fundamental freedoms that are being attacked in such a vicious way, whether it be a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, the freedom to access the ballot box, the freedom to make decisions openly about who you love. And so when we talk about our democracy, I do believe that there is a duality to its nature. On the one hand, democracies are very strong when they are intact in terms of the strength they give to their people, protecting their liberties and freedoms and rights. On the other hand, democracies are very fragile. It will only be as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
Federal prosecutors have indicted Trump, the frontrunner for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, for his efforts to cling to power in 2020. The former president also has been charged in Georgia in a scheme to subvert the will of voters who elected Democrat Joe Biden instead of giving Trump a second term. The White House has been circumspect in addressing the issue of Trump's criminal charges in order to avoid any whiff of political meddling in the work of prosecutors. But Biden and Harris have been outspoken about what they view as the very real danger to American democracy the aftermath of the 2020 election exposed.
Hoped and dreamed and promised they would do it and did not.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you on Friday with more news and updates. Goodbye.